just kind of jump into this next segment is how like how we perceive relationships to be, you know, and who our perfect woman and or guy is going to be, and how they're going to look like, and how they're going to act. Like, I grew up for so long thinking like, just like you know, you watch the movies and you believe like what society is like. You're gonna find this person, you're gonna fall in love, and it's gonna be absolutely perfect. Like, you're gonna have one argument, but you're gonna overcome it, and all it will be well, and you run off in the sunset. The end. Like that. You have that idea built into your head like for so long, even though like you're not conscious of it, subconsciously. Like, oh, like she's not pretty enough. Oh, she's not smart enough. Oh, she doesn't like video games. Like, you start picking like, I can't date her because of X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm telling you to this day, like the number one thing that really attracts me, and the very first time I even became woke about it was with you, was being adaptable. If you are able to adapt to each other, like, you love hiking, I love video games. Instead of like, oh, she hikes too much, it's over, it'll never work out. No, you were like, yo, like, I like video games too. I'm like, well, actually, I like being out. Like, we find those level grounds. Like, let's go hiking half the time and play video games the other half time, and then we can do what we both love to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
I think it's really good to adapt, not only in like your relationship, but like with your families and like your friends, because then you can really understand what they think from what you think, and then it'll just better your friendship
exactly
to, you know, the extreme. So
because like how we like officially started dating, we were friends for 2 years at this point when we actually started dating, and you brought up like, hey, like, we should date, and I was like, no, you remember that?
Yes.
I still feel like shit. I almost missed out on one of the best opportunities. Not trying to be cheesy here, but seriously though, like, you're a hella great woman. So at that time though, and you're like, hey, let's date or whatever, I was just like, no, you know, and you pushed it for like 3 days, like seriously, like realize. And that was the first time that you woke me up, that like you said something like, you know, like we're best friends. We do everything together. We have fun all the time. Like, this is what you should be looking for, something like along those lines, right? And I was like, wow. And that was the first time that what this show idolizes, what everything idolizes, is I was able to pull myself out of my body. And that is hard. In all situations, you don't just do it one and done. Like, you have to do that consistently. And it is hard to pull yourself out of your situation, out of your way of thinking, and analyze how you're acting. And I was able to be like, wow, like, why do I think this? It's because, like, and I started analyzing, oh, because the media that I consume teaches me this. Instagram, the perfect, like, all these things that are, like, forcing me to believe this one vision, and that's not real. In reality, what you need is someone that you're going to spend the rest of your, like, a whole days with. Yeah, oh, like, I want the perfect girl that's going to, like, we're going to have sex, blah, 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 blah. Why worry about 30 minutes of your day compared to, like, the next 23 and a half hours of your day? You know, like,
right.
Worry about that, the happiness, how you're going to live together, how you're going to be happy together, how you're going to have fun together. Like, I just never thought about it. I was so focused on this, you know, boyfriend-girlfriend consumer relationship. That's it. Like, your boyfriend-girlfriend, you do sexual things, you spend time with each other, you move on. You know, like, gaming is just for the boys, going shopping is just for the girls. You never cross those worlds. You just do your boyfriend-girlfriend thing, marriage, and then that's it. But you were like, yo, like, no, like, it should be this way. Like, you should be friends and care about the person you love and want to hang out with this person and play video games and involve them in everything and in most things that you do, so you can actually spend that time together but have fun with the person you love.
Yeah. I think it's a lot harder, just like you said, growing up with this, you know, with all these movies around saying, oh, this is like, you know, this is what's going to happen. You're going to meet some random person, and then you guys are just going to fall in love. You're going to have this one huge argument, and then everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not like that. And I think that's why a lot of people say, like, high school relationships don't work out, is because, you know, you have your clique, and then this other, you know, group has this clique, and you can be like, oh, like, I like this guy. And then they start dating because they feel, you know, mutual attraction. And then they're like, oh, like, I don't do this. I don't like this. Like, we have nothing in common. Like, I don't even know what to talk to you about.
Exactly.
And then it just gets awkward, and then they just, you know, part ways. And I think that's how a lot of relations, like, early relationships are.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, hi. And then, you know, there's no communication. And then it just gets boring, and that leads to the lying and the cheating and everything else.
Because you're not honest. Like, every relationship I've ever had before you has been like that. I never, like, maybe one out of, like, 50, 60, 70, like, dating cases or whatever, probably even 100. Like, you like me, and you kind of talk or whatever, you move on. But every time it was always like right off the bat, like, oh, I like you, you know, like, and you like them because mainly on their attraction or XYZ, and then you learn more and more about who they are, and really like you don't know like how they act in heavy situations, and that's a big thing you don't know. Like you have to hang out with someone for a minute to really understand, like, you know, like, oh, like I don't, you know, they say I don't drink, but I just drink occasionally, but that occasionally they have like wasted, make out with 10 guys at the bar, like it's bad, like they, you know, like there's things you don't know until you get to know them.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's good to, you know, have, you know, start a relationship with someone who's like your best friend, because then you know, you spend all this time with them already, you know them, you know, I mean, they always say that once you move in with someone, like you really know someone, but, you know, yeah. But I mean, I think that it's really good to just start off being friends first and then moving into a relationship, because then you really know how it's going to be like for the rest of your life if this person is the one you're gonna marry. And I mean, that's the end game anyway.
Exactly. Like we looked at, because like that 2 years we were friends, we were legit just friends. Like the most like we never did anything, never like acted anything. The worst we did is like, you saw my butt that one time, do you remember?
Yeah,
I got in your, like, was it like booty shorts or something?
I think it was booty shorts.
Yeah, because it was like the four of us hanging out, and like I saw him, and I like came out the room and like looking all stupid. I was like shaking my, you guys like, what the fuck? Like, you guys can't just sit for 3 minutes without getting stupid.
Yeah.
But like that you saw me, and that besides that, it was all just friends until that moment when you're like, hey, we should date. And that's when I was like going through that phase of, you know, like, like she's like my best friend, and like this is weird, and it's like not what I pictured, blah 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 blah. Like I just had this ideology in my head, and it's fucked up to say, but that's who I was at that time.
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand, but because of you, I was able to pull myself out. I'm like, holy shit, there's this amazing woman that we've never fought. Like we've already talked about a lot of things we believe differently, but we never fought. Like we were always on the same page, and we were like already working together, like understanding each other. Like we had so much already built: video games, love, kindness, treating each other. We had a lot of similar goals. Like it was all on the right path, right then and there. And I wanted to turn that down because of this perfect relationship that I'm supposed to idolize. That's never gonna happen. But you were like, you know, after what, 3-4 days? I know. But finally, though, I was like, let's do it. And then we went on our first real official like date. Nothing happened, but but that was good though. That was good.
No, I think it was really good. Just because, you know, we had been friends for so long, and like I said, I had already like always had an attraction towards you. I mean, you can ask Tasha. Like me and her were always like, oh, like look at him, and I'm like, yeah.
Look at him. I was nice and skinny back then. Yeah, that's good though. Like, and like, of course, like I think it is like I had attraction as any 20-year-old I was at the time, male would have towards women, but like the biggest goal is like I was like having so much fun with you, like it never like crossed my mind.
Yeah,
you know, and that was my like it was just like Janie's like my best friend. Like I hang out with her, like we have fun together. We watch Game of Thrones. We do all these things together. Like, and then separate. Like I was out chasing girls or doing whatever the hell I was doing at the time. But I never focused on like that wake up call. Like holy shit! Like your best friend is the person that you should try to be marrying. Like the person that you should try to be with for the rest of your life. Because why? Like yeah, I can game with the boys, and yeah, you need time with the boys, right? But it's so nice to be like, babe, E3 is happening. And you're like, oh my God, they're going to announce a new thing. And I'm like, this is why I love you. And then we can all do a whole guys and girls trip down to E3 and look, you know what I'm saying? Like do all those kind of fun things that get us inside of it. And like doing it together rather than having such different lives. Like our best friendship, our relationship, our friends are all engaged. We're all like just this big group of like togetherness / fun, you know?
Yeah. No, I think it makes it a lot better to just, you know, have a lot of common interests. And that way it's not, oh, I'm going to go do this because you don't like it. And I'm going to go do this because you don't like this. And then it's like we never spend any time together.
Exactly. Yep, I agree 1,000%.